Runner on second,
But then he
one
made
out.
a mistake.
Foul.
He made a mistake.
All right, good morning.
I'm up.
Welcome to our Rankin County Board of Supervisors meeting. This is July 29th. We're going to call this meeting to order. And I ask Craig Slay if he will do our invocation.
We're so grateful for the opportunity, the privilege that it is to serve our fellow man, Lord, to be here in this county where there are so many good things going on. Lord, thank you for our elected officials that are willing to serve. Father, they sacrifice, their families make sacrifices as well. Father, they do this out of their love for their fellow man, out of the love for this county, and Father, for the things that this county needs to them, and they see it as important that they serve. Father, thank you for the example of that. Lord, I thank you for our law enforcement, our guys that are out there protecting us and serving us so effectively every day. Father, I pray that you just protect them, keep them safe, bring them home to their families in Christ's name. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Martin, you're first out of the gate.
Can I ask this quick question? Do we want to go ahead and take care of Johnny and Judy?
Yeah,
since
that's what's good. I was gonna
we
say-
get ready to do that? I'm sorry.
I think
Okay, I'm
Johnny's
sorry.
gonna give us an update first.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Good morning.
Just last week, it was made apparent to me that y'all went ahead and moved forward with approving the improvements to the tax collector's office at Flowood. Me and Miss Judy met several weeks ago and looked at the property, and she gave me the ideas of what she wanted to do. And without knowing the details and possible restrictions that Mr. Almond, which the property owner, may have with the construction or what type of construction we would do in the to the property, I didn't know which way we were going. But we have spoken since, and I want to kind of give y'all an update of where we at with the building. As far as the construction goes, it has a dividing firewall. It's 40 foot long, runs from floor to roof, as firewall requires. And of course, that's fire code. That's going to be set with inside the fire marshals and the city of Flowood. This firewall is going to have to be demoed, obviously, to open this area up. And with doing that, one side of the firewall, which is the area we'll be taking in, has a open ceiling construction. In other words, all the mechanical, lighting, ductwork, etc. is exposed, spiral ductwork. The area that we are occupying is acoustical ceiling. So in order to demo the firewall, we're going to have to demo the acoustical ceiling, acoustical lighting, acoustical HVAC, electrical, the whole 9 yards, even the cabling that's running above for smoke detectors, fire alarms. All of that's going to have to be demoed in order to take the firewall out. Firewall, of course, is a 2x6 stud, metal stud structure, double sheetrock, 5/8 sheetrock on each side, running up, approximately 24 foot. So it's going to be a pretty big undertaking. And to do it in-house, I'm not going to stand up here and tell y'all that I'm not qualified to do it in-house, because I'm obviously qualified. I just don't know that we're going to have the manpower, and we're going to have to sub a lot of this mechanical out anyway. So it's going to be like I said, a pretty large undertaking, and I feel pretty sure with building the new cabinetry that's going to take place for the reception area, putting the countertops in, redoing the cabling, and redoing the flooring, you are going to run the cost up. And I haven't put any exact numbers to it. I'm just looking at it from an overall standpoint. Dude, it's not going to take long to get to $50,000 on this project.
Yep.
And our threshold for bid is 50. Is that right?
Our threshold for quotes is
Quotes.
over 5. That's problematic in and of itself when you start down this price like
That's right.
We should have known
And
that
we
up
don't
front,
want to
huh?
get midstream through the project and realize, we're at $30,000 and we're not going to be long. We're going to be at 50 or over, and then there we're going to be.
Is it
So.
100% necessary to take that wall out from front to back?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's going to have to come out mainly because we're going to have to make a decision too. You've got two areas that have different style structure, so we're going to have to make a decision if we're going to go back with acoustical ceiling in the area that we're going to occupy, or we're going to take all the acoustical out and go with an open type mechanical structure for the ceiling.
What if we were to go all the way from the end to where the firewall is? Would that not give us enough room?
I think he's got that, already obligated,
Who does?
Pete.
Oh, for,
I would think
For
he'd work
something
with us
else.
here, and since we're about to do him a huge favor.
Well, I haven't paid close attention. Now, there is another wall, another partition wall, it's not a firewall, that separates the old sales area for the jewelry store, if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Beauty, correct me if I'm wrong. It separates a storage area or repair area, if you will, in the jewelry store. So I don't think it's a firewall, but that area that the jewelry store is in would probably just be a partition wall instead of a firewall. But I'm not real.
I can see, I know that
Well, would that give you enough, would it double your size though, from what you currently have?
if you went,
Yeah, from the end to where the firewall is, basically take up the old jewelry store, all they had.
Just the area that they're proposing to take in at this time is bigger than the area that Miss Judy has now.
Yeah.
I can contact him to see what he's got obligated, I don't know.
yeah, 'cause, we are doing him a huge favor
Well,
for down the road.
I don't wanna drag our feet about it, but I would think too, if we're gonna have to spend this much money, he ought to be willing to help some.
That's what I was thinking, say.
Just, he needs to be
Most times
made
he's built a
aware
suit
too,
on it,
being it's his, that,
I mean,
you know,
suit
the
rent.
firewall's gotta come in play, and we'll need to make sure he understands what's gotta be
Yeah.
done. But as far as exact cost, I don't have any, because these are questions that still hadn't been answered, so.
Well, normally doesn't the owner build it?
sometimes, and
Yeah.
this wasn't brought to us
I know.
whenever it
All right,
came
we didn't
to
know.
us. I mean, when we,
I know what you're saying, yeah.
I'd rather slow down and look. at
And it
some
could
other
have been a
options.
miscommunication on my part, me and Miss Judy met, and we went over it. I was under the impression that we were gonna have to get approval from the land, the property owner,
Well-
you know.
I had a question, how have you done the code? We know that, City of Flowood
Right.
code, have you done to that?
That's
I mean,
right.
this is not out of the ordinary. I mean, we did at this little shopping center down here, we represented somebody, and a nail salon wanted to come in, well, they did all the tenant finish up to what they needed to do. It was all on their ticket.
But if we could
Landlord
just
was not.
maybe rearrange our footage and not
That could be.
have to go through that firewall, or either use, I mean, like, this room and the rest of this office is separated by this wall, and we still are able to function.
Right.
If we could,
They run the reception area parallel with the firewall. So the entrance area and the space that you would have in the area would be of greater length, I'm assuming. If you turn the reception area opposite of the firewall, you would reduce your amount of space as far as capacity of bringing clients in or citizens in, however how you want to refer. And, but like Miss Judy said, the last time I was in, y'all were speaking about it, there's only 1 or 2 days a month that it really gets heavy.
It's gotten really heavy
Really?
up there.
Okay.
They do a lot of that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what are you talking about, every day?
well, I think the numbers are about equal now, here and there.
Well, I mean, this isn't, we still got
We've
room here sometimes.
Twice as much space
Yep.
over here,
Yeah.
and we just out the door practically up there.
We sure didn't know all this going in.
Let's,
Well, how can we not know that? I mean, we did know that. I mean, we didn't, maybe
We didn't know it was a firewall.
We didn't know
We
it
know
was
it was
a
a firewall
structure,
had
but you
set up.
knew, well, we should have known, because if you're gonna take in a new suite, you know there's a firewall there anyway, because it's got to be built to code.
Well, then why didn't you tell us about that, Bob?
I don't know, I missed it, I really did. That is my level of expertise, and I should have known that, but I didn't. I didn't. You're exactly right. Wishful thinking on my part, maybe.
Check and see what's going on with the other end of the
let's,
building.
Why
If
don't
we
we call
could,
it that way? Keep
yeah,
you out
keep
the
you
You
middle.
say
out.
the other end, is that open
Unless you want
space?
to.
Is that vacant space?
I'm
You say
sorry.
the other end, is that vacant space?
I don't know if he's got it already leased out or what.
Well, originally, I was told that, Mr. Newton was planning on keeping the first
He was
spot.
gonna keep a small section, and it might be that we could swap.
Yeah.
You could
Yep.
our small section.
Why, Bob, why is there not a firewall between us and the jewelry store on your thinking
Yeah,
if there was on the other
your
side of it?
expertise.
There ought to be, it should have been, if it's built to code,
Yeah.
you know,
So it may be.
maybe.
Well, they still had both sides, they just only had one side for a showroom. I don't know what they had, I've never been over there, so, but the other side was whatever, inventory, I don't know.
The work area.
I know they kept their dogs over there.
It's all kind of a moot point, because we have approved a lease, I don't know, you signed it?
Well, but I think he would work with us as far as just moving the footage, if we didn't have to spend as much money to put it.
Of course, we can always put this strictly on him and let's renegotiate the lease and just pay it out over the next
Pay more.
5 years.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Let's just see what's available the other direction before we open this up. Because we may be overlooking something that can work just as
John,
well
you don't know for sure there's not a firewall there either.
between,
The second
Jewel.
wall
Yeah.
dividing
That line?
the sales
I
area
think
and the
you're
work area. No, I'm not for certain that there's a firewall there. I'll have to look at it again. I paid more close attention to what we were
Thank you.
gonna have to deal with, so.
Oh, yeah.
I wanna say, if my memory serves me correctly, I wanna say it's just a petition wall and it stops and it's got a header on it.
I mean, if it was a firewall, it'd be a moot point.
Yep.
you know.
But I asked the question at Steve, and I haven't seen the space, I'm a little bit confused, but if it goes all the way up, the firewall does, why can't you cut out a 9-foot by,
That's what I was thinking.
why can't you cut out an opening that allows the flow to do what we want to do without having to do the integrity of the whole wall?
Case opening.
Right,
probably
do a
the
cased
weight.
opening,
What?
well, you
weight
have,
of it.
then
Well,
you
the
have
case
nothing,
opening, you
because
use
it's
the
gonna
case
have to
back.
be
Yeah,
a,
I got
it's
it.
gonna have to be a 30-plus foot opening, and it's a metal 2x6 stud, there'd be nothing there to support it, no way to support it. There's no adjacent ceiling joist, nothing to get into to support it with. There's no way to bridge and short, you
Have we
know.
been up in there and looked at that?
why do you have to go 30-foot wide instead of 12-foot wide for a cased opening?
To accomplish the goal that Ms. Judy's trying to accomplish,
She's
is open
switching
the
the
front
counter,
of that building
make it
up.
go
Going
lengthways.
width-wise
Right.
than length.
Width,
Right.
whatever. Let's put Craig in charge of it. He's just sitting out there smiling, going, this is not my problem,
Just
you
thinking,
know?
you go to the landlord and say, we need it to look like this right here, brother. Figure out what it's gonna take for us to rent.
That's
Right there.
Yeah.
that's where I'm going.
I think
Yeah.
so, because
Yeah.
that way the
Yeah.
motive's on him to get it done, because he won't get rent.
I can assure you, he
Yep.
can get it done a whole lot cheaper than we can.
Yeah.
Well, let us have an opportunity to meet with Pete Allman.
Well, you know, every time
And
we
see
bid
what-
something out, that raises the price 10%, you know?
At least.
So,
Well, we come in good till they got in there.
yeah.
I'm for that,
Any more
moving,
questions?
Well,
let's
and,
approach
I mean,
him.
very quickly, let us try to meet with Pete, with Judy involved, and see what our options are before we just say, okay, that's what we're gonna do. Is that all right?
Just let me know which way you wanna go. Thank y'all.
We'll
I
get your
take it that
schedule, and we'll try to
Judy-
get Pete, and maybe meet out there. Johnny can come.
I take it, y'all, you've got a list or something pretty definitive of what you need to be done in the space?
Well, I would like for you to be there, present, and meet on site.
Yeah.
We need to have
Johnny
that,
and-
need to have
We
that
can
in
walk it
writing.
off and measure it
Give
and
it
see,
to him,
yeah.
because, you know, Pete's gonna give somebody else to do, you know, and Pete's memory, turn off the recorder, would you? It's awful. You know, you don't track it in paper, good luck.
Just let me know.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, see you later.
All right, Janice, make sure you set that meeting up and put it on my calendar.
One's yours and then the rest goes on
Make sure I said that.
Maybe I'll just let
That
Janice
meeting
deal
up
with
and
it.
put it
I
on my
think she can-
calendar for the right hour.
Shut it down.
How come,
Your phone.
how come Daniel's out of this league?
Well, he-
All those morons up the reservoir using this damn office anyway, you know?
I go there all the time, so.
We use
See,
it.
there we go, we
picture's
left
on-
the,
hey.
left the red light on
Yeah,
again, the
your-
blue light's on again,
Your
you
picture's on
know?
the wall in there,
I
Bob.
thought we were supposed to turn that off during budget talks.
I was letting him say it. I was gonna say, no, we took it down.
Only if we go into executive session for executive material.
Really?
Sorry. Which we may need.
What's our bottom number look like?
That's what I was just gonna tell you, turn to the last page and look at your bottom number.
Has it changed from the other day?
Yeah.
Yes, it has.
Oh, yeah.
And she moved it from red to black, so I guess that means we're in good shape,
No.
right?
I think the
It-
parentheses still.
Yeah,
Black to red.
We can
It's still
adjourn.
red. It's red on mine, I'm sorry. I printed those and they didn't get in color and I wasn't wasting the paper to go back. But it's in parentheses, so y'all, we're still over $1 million short.
Well, Jay
And-
has $1 million that we don't know what he's gonna do with. He can give it back.
And
Jay, I get you $1 million and look what they're doing.
Jared gave it to Jay, now Jay can give it back.
And right now, I can't get it to move off of that number in any way, shape, or form.
You said that it does not include the renovation or the furniture?
No,
Are we-
sir.
Are we over our budget in the bond?
Well, there's not, I mean, if there's, I didn't even count what little bit's left, because if there's any other kind of change order or anything, it's not
You
gonna be
should
there.
have art on the wall.
Explain to me, now you can explain to me why the district attorney needs 270,000.
It's
Tell you
bas-
what, why don't we start from the
yeah,
beginning?
Okay, that's fine.
Hey, here's one thing I'd like to say before we start. I asked Miss Laura last week to go back to the FY16 budget,
here.
which is close to where we came in the office at.
Yep.
The FY16 budget was already in place on that, but our last three budgets that we approved and set, I asked her to show us the final total balance numbers at the end of the year, what we
Bingo,
started with
that's
or how we spent it. To
That's
show
great.
you an increase over our term, what we've done for that department. Because there's gonna be some adjustments, obviously, and I wanted everybody to be able to see the overall adjustments or the amount of money we've increased every single county department. The problem is, you look on that last sheet, the very bottom number shows the overall revenues increased in the county 13% since we came in office. But we've increased everybody's budget 16%. So when we go through simple math, it kind of gets silly, but you can see the amount of increase and the difference that we've increased each budget since we came into office in the corners from, basically our first budget was a 17 budget, 18, 19, and then obviously this year here. So I just want to see as we're making these decisions, as you see every department, you can figure out how much we've increased them over this term in office. So my small mind, I just wanted to have that out there. in
Maybe
front of
that's what Busan keeps saying about responsible government. We're not being responsible.
I ignore him, so I don't know what he's saying.
I don't either. I try not to have a conversation with him if I'm having
Who is he?
Busan, Paul Busan.
Oh, turn it off. We'll get too much.
And if you take that difference,
no
that
idea.
13%,
Before we get too far.
What is the cost, I call it cost of living, what's that we've experienced in those same years as far as the economic change over 3 years? Would it be 2% a year, 3% a year, 4% a year? Because some of that is just eat up with general economic costs going up.
that's correct. I mean, usually when you pull something to look at like raises and all, it hasn't really hit 3% in a few years. It's been in the 2.5, 2, 3, somewhere in there.
Well, 3 years
Is there-
could be nearly 10%.
For-
Steve, it's probably trending ahead of the actual cost of living.
COLA.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. It's ahead. That would be my gut
Alright.
reaction to it.
Well.
I'd say costs are going up about 2%, and your adjustments, your budget adjustments, personnel and otherwise, have been trending higher than that, maybe 2.5, 3%.
This bottom figure that you see too does not include any raises. Other than that is what is required by statute.
Do we want to go through the line by line like Jay said, or we want to kind of keep scattered for this?
Hey,
Let's
where's the
go
road
line
budget?
item.
It's not, this is just your general county.
Okay.
It's on your miscellaneous by itself, but I thought we'd take general like we always do first, take it.
Who's getting lunch?
So, we've,
Janice?
This is gonna be the quick one too.
PERS went up, how many years ago was it when PERS went up on employees from 7 to 9%?
Oh, gosh.
Probably been 10, I would
No,
think.
it ain't, it's been that long?
Didn't you?
It's been,
I bet it's close to
How
10.
many?
I bet it is too.
I bet it's maybe
I
8
mean,
to 9 at the
10
earliest.
years.
At least.
I bet it's
At the
You
earliest,
use-
8 to 10
8
years.
to 10
Okay.
years,
I
I
know,
would say.
I know they did it
Time
last
flies.
time, but do you anticipate them next year going up on them again because we're
No.
supposed to do it us now?
On
The reason
on
I
the
say
employees,
well, the reason I say no on that is because right now the state coffers are as strong as they've ever possibly been. Revenue's up on every single
I
category
guess
in every
depends
single
on who gets
area.
elected as far as that
Yeah,
goes.
that's an excellent point on that one. But right now the state coffers are as good as they could possibly, good as they've ever been.
Ever been.
In history of the whole thing, rainy day funds
Yes.
exceeding the numbers where it's at, and that the money coming in is really, really good. So if there's a time where state government is lucrative money-wise, it should be next session. Now whether they do anything with it or not doesn't matter. I mean, who knows
Well,
on
the
that?
whole reason we're having a PERS problem anyway is because they laid off about 20% of the darn workforce in the last 2 to 3 years through budget
No,
cuts.
that's not the real reason. The real reason that 13 check. That's the real
Well,
reason.
that too. All right, Board of Supervisors, 278,000. What is this legal fees? I know we got Slay, but what is the other part?
I'm sorry.
The Board of Supervisors. I see PERS, and then I see legal fees.
Well, you know, over the last couple of years, we've had a lot of litigation. We've had a lot of lawsuits. And so,
How many times have we get hit up at the reservoir?
I have a phone
It's gonna
call
keep coming.
today with Trey to fine tune, precisely what we have seen from their meeting. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, because I am part and parcel of the legal category. So, but I suspect, my suspicion is, and I'll probably know this later today, and I'll alert you guys after I find out for sure. I suspect that the vast majority of that increase is gonna be related to the lobbying work
That we're no longer
was
doing.
undertaken for our, last year for our airport,
Mhm.
brouhaha over the Avalon tax issue.
So you're basing this increase based on last year's expenses?
yes, the last
Okay.
couple of years, yes, is based on that.
What do they charge an hour, 300?
No, sir. We get their preferred rate, and at the moment, it's about $2.40 an hour. Yours truly is still charging you $125 an hour.
We capped yours still? Or do we,
I'm capped.
He's capped.
And we're on tape, okay.
He's
I'm capped, on general county.
right,
Y'all allow me to bill for road project type
Right.
work, and that gets billed in Mike's area,
right.
right? So,
Right.
but on general county, I'm capped at 200.
So you've been consistent the last 4 years.
Anybody?
I think you'll find that I've been consistent as the road projects have ramped up.
Yeah.
Then y'all been paying for road work that I do.
Anybody we can fire?
No,
I'm serious.
no.
Turn it off. We can go to executive session. You got somebody you want to throw out there? I have no problem.
I don't think we do.
Yeah, want to throw it out there?
I mean, we did bring on a human resource person this year, but now she's doing payroll. So,
Well, she came on over a year ago, and yes, now she is doing payroll also.
yeah, so
Yes.
we
So what if
we need
Michelle?
somebody to
Let's
do
say Michelle
payroll.
wins. Let's say if Michelle wins. You know, is her job?
Well,
Can that be absorbed by somebody else?
that's the decision that,
I think we need to be in executive.
Yeah,
We're going to
if
discuss
we're
by
gonna
name.
If a name comes up,
Yes.
I'm getting real froggy now.
Yes, me too. We need to be in
Okay,
executive.
that's fine. We'll move on then. We'll move on.
We can come back to executive later if we
well,
need to.
actually, we probably do need to go into this because we have to make decisions here pretty quick about our future. We can't just keep dragging our feet.
Then make a motion to go into executive session. Discuss the need for executive session.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to go into, we have a motion to discuss the need to go into executive session. I have a second by Jay. All in favor? Aye. Any
No.
opposed?
Motion to go into discuss personnel. Brad, sorry, my friend. I had you brought
We
him
ain't
up
be long.
here, and now we're kicking you out.
All right, we got a motion to go in. Have a motion to go in for personnel reasons. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second by Jay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
While we're clearing the room, why did